How's it going?
Johnny, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Awesome. I am about half a mile from the house. I just wanted to jump on because I got stuck in a little bit more traffic than I normally do. But is it okay if I come back to you in like 6 minutes or something?
Yeah, take your time, man. We're here.
Okay. Awesome. Yay!
I'm so excited. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Hill, the
What's
segment.
up? What's up, everybody? Man, I'm here. What's up, senders? What's up, folks? I'm here on the
Holy
Johnny
cow.
U MTB Q&A show.
How are you, man?
I'm good. Life is good, man.
Life is good out there in NorCal?
Well, I'm in SoCal. I'm in Southern California. Yeah, I live in a little town called Murrieta, California. It's about the size of 100,000 people.
Uh-huh.
And it's in the closest big city to us is San Diego. I'm about 40 miles north of San Diego.
Wow,
50 miles east of Orange County and close to Riverside and close to Los Angeles.
I thought you were up there. I don't know California very well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I messed that up.
No, there's great trails up there too.
Yeah, you guys breed mountain bike YouTubers out there, of course.
Yeah, I know there's so many. All you have to do is you're on a trail out here in NorCal or Southern California and you just say GoPro record and the whole mountain just goes beep, 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 beep.
You're like setting everybody's GoPros off. That's funny.
Right. Speaking of SoCal, dude, I see you have Unspoken shirt on.
You know what? I can't. Which side is it? It's this side.
Yeah. That's Brett. That's Brett from Unspoken. That's awesome.
I saw his stuff on Instagram. I started following, and I figured, I got to talk. I don't know if you have any of his stuff. It's very soft.
Yeah, good stuff, man. That's a tri-blend material, I think.
Really I don't know what it is, but it's incredibly feels good on my body. So what do you do over there in SoCal? What is Mark Hill? Do you need the tea?
You can. You can put the tea in there.
Okay, but what does Mark do over there in SoCal?
So I started this YouTube channel called The Segment about 2 years ago. About 2 years ago is when I started writing. Time out.
I always see you in scrubs. What do you do for a living?
Oh yeah. So I work for a big pharmaceutical company and I'm one of their pharmaceutical reps. I work in the biologics respiratory division and we try to help out by offering a biologic medication for severe asthma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Medical field.
Sales. I'm on the sales side. Yep. I'm one of the sales representatives out there trying to get the doctor's time.
I didn't even know that was a career move for me. I wish I thought of it earlier in life. So you get to wear scrubs to work.
Yeah. When
most of the time.
It used to be we were doing suits, like the whole stuffy jacket, the button up and a tie and everything. And then when the pandemic started, they were allowing us to be in scrubs because they're way easier to clean, way easier to get off of your body before entering the house. And I just kind of stayed with it after the pandemic, kind of eased up a bit. Yeah. They're comfortable.
Yeah, no, I always said my brother-in-law is a doctor and I go, you know what? You can wear suits. I wear shorts and a t-shirt to work. It's different. But if you're saving someone's life, I think you're allowed to wear pajamas to work.
Exactly. And for me, as a person on the sales side, wearing a suit into a place where there's everybody in scrubs it feels off. The vibe feels off.
Yeah, you feel you're wearing a noose.
Yes.
That's what a tie is a noose.
It totally is. Somebody could grab it and I'm done.
Before I gotta warn you, the way I talk, my train hops the rails. I'm a dog, finds a squirrel all of a sudden. I'm all over the place. So
I like it.
forgive me, but I'm loving your background.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You go through
Uh,
so many backgrounds.
yeah, this is so on this side, this is my buddy's professional skateboard. This is Steve Cavallero. And I was able to get his autograph right there.
There.
And then a couple of the local guys, I got them to sign. I got Tony the Outsider to sign it. Some of the trail dogs, I got them to sign. Joe Duarte, who was an MMA athlete and mountain biker, I got him to sign.
Holy
So
cow.
yeah, it's fun. So I like to keep it up there because it reminds me of good times.
So this is like your little, this is your domain for the segment.
Yes, yeah. This is the wife let me have the office as the segment. Now she used to be a full-time teacher, so her desk was right here.
Oh,
And since the pandemic started, she started this little business called Rad Kids. And she was able to quit her day job and pursue
oh.
Rad Kids full time.
Well, what's Rad Kids? You're gonna
So,
bring it up.
yeah, yeah.
What
So
is it?
she noticed that when the pandemic started, kids were on screens for school. Of course, they were on screens for video games. They weren't going to a school setting where people can check in on them, how they're doing, how their well-being is,
Mhm.
if they need, tutoring, things like that. So she thought if she created something that she could do at the park where for 2 hours, the first hour, the kids kind of run around, get energy out, be active, but then learn about the outside, like what kind of trees are there, go on hikes, learning about the environment. And then the second hour after, doing all that is all about academia. Where are they hung up in their schooling and their academics? What do they need help with? And
Oh,
since
wow.
she's a teacher, she was able to dive in and help out the local community with that. And now the thing's grown. She has her location here in Murrieta, and then she just opened up a second location in Orange County.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Be able to
Yeah.
start something new during the pandemic.
Yeah. And hence it opened up this whole office to me.
So you've got a wife, kids.
Yeah, I've got two kiddos. I have a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old. The 10-year-old's name is Messiah. And if anybody watches the channel, the segment, they'll see him periodically popping on there, or on the Instagram, they'll see him,
Mhm.
hitting some jumps. He loves mountain biking. And it's really fun to go out there with him. But I realize now that he is a mountain biker, I realize how dangerous our sport is, Johnny.
You don't care about you.
Right.
When you're watching your 10-year-old kid sending
Yes.
it,
Yes.
you're like, oh my gosh, is it gonna be okay?
Yeah. We have a trail system out here called Greer Ranch, and it has some world-class types of trails here locally for us. We love it. There's some good pro riders who ride there. They built the step up as an example of being afraid. They built the step up on one of the trails. It's a step up and it's also got some distance to it. It's on a
Yeah.
trail called Monk Dog out here. And I was looking at it, and normally I just look at it and then maybe, like test jump it once and then go ahead and full send.
Uh-huh.
But my son wanted to hit it blind, just without really looking at it, just go for it. And that's when I realized, man, this is a dangerous sport. And then I started calculating, Johnny. I go, okay, if he gets hurt, how much does he weigh? How far do I have to hike him out? Do I have cell service?
Oh,
What could
yeah.
possibly happen? And all these thoughts go through my mind. And he just runs up to the thing and hits it and just sails it nice and clean. Nice and clean.
But the whole time you're like, oh.
The whole time I was in
That's-
dad mode, like,
That's
oh my
funny.
God.
You're right. You guys, like where I'm at in Miami, you wreck, you can walk out. It's all very compact. All the trails are in this little area. You got like 6 or 7 miles worth of trails, but it's very walkable. You guys are up a mountain.
Yeah.
Hiking that kid over your shoulder.
Right.
You
Right.
you don't have cheap bikes. You're not leaving them there.
No, right. That's definitely not an option. And then the other option is try not to check on the bike first. Try to make sure you check on the kiddo first.
Oh yeah, I forgot about you got to check on the kid first.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But I've seen some footage of you. You've got features out there. I see you.
It's nothing but features.
That's great.
It's nothing but features. You have, hey, mister, I'm doing the interview. No, I'm kidding. No, you did a video and we're way off track, but you're very first. I love doing a deep dive before I do these things. Your very first video is of a redemption ride. You had 6 minutes, 1 second on a trail. I forget the name of it. It has some features on it.
That's got to be Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse. Yes, sir.
Yes.
There's 8 miles from my house there. It's nothing but wooden features.
Whoa.
I mean, it's mostly, there's a lot of dirt and sand, but it is. Sometimes you just want to ride.
Yeah.
You don't want to do skinnies the whole time. There's one trail back there that I was telling somebody before that's like 80% wood.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's sick. I'll send you a video.
Yeah.
I'll send you a video.
That's
crazy.
I love the intro video when you click on your channel and you describe like how the pandemic got you to watch YouTubers, starting to like really get to know them. And then you're like, I mountain bike and I'm pretty good at it. And it shows you doing all these features and there's a drop. I see you hit this drop and you're like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall.
Well, I'm recording myself. I don't want to fall. Yeah, no, it's, I became fans of yours. And that's right before when you called me on the phone thing, when you were on the phone before this whole thing started, I went downstairs and I was telling my wife, I said, oh, he's going to be about 6 minutes or so. And I said, it's so fascinating to me. And I guess you feel this. I don't know if you feel this way too, because you do the podcast stuff. I'm like talking to you right now. Like I'm a huge fan of yours. It's like you were, I don't know, I'm going to say someone else, like Hugh Jackman or any of the big celebrities, Robert De Niro, let's just say just an actor that you're a fan of. I've become huge fans of you YouTubers. And now the fact that like you called me, I was in your car with you. Do you ever get that way?
All the time when I'm doing the podcasts too. I mean, the sport is so fun, right? And it's something that we, not only as podcasters, you and I, it's something we get to talk to these folks at, but we're writers and we get a chance to really know what that feels like. Mm-hmm. So I think the level of respect for some of these folks, when you become fans of them, just knowing like what they're writing, how they're writing, their style, their personality, what they put out there. It's easy to get, into that area where I feel like, oh my God, that's them. So today I rode with a guy by the name of Angry Wolverine. And for a second, I didn't realize it was him. His name is Casey. He introduced himself as Casey. Uh-huh. And halfway through the ride, I was like, holy cow, that's Angry Wolverine.
Wolverine, I love it.
Yeah, that's his handle. But everything changed. It went from like nice and casual riding to like, dude, that's Angry Wolverine. This is so awesome. This is crazy.
Yeah, you get thrown off when you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're you.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
I made a goofy face. Is there something grumping in there?
Yeah. Athena is here. Athena, my trail dog.
She's trail shepherd.
She's the shepherd. She likes to go underneath the desk when I do podcasts sometimes. And she grumbles and she groans. And half the time I'm like, oh my God, I hope they don't think that's me.
I was just like, man, he's hungry. His stomach is growling. So let's take it back. When did you start getting into? I mean, you're from California?
Yeah, I'm from California. I was born and raised in California. My mom is Filipino. Mm-hmm. My dad was Filipino, but he passed away when I was a baby. Oh, so I didn't really get a chance to know him, but my mother remarried to an American father who grew up in Idaho. So the whole time growing up, they never told me I had a biologic father other than the dad that I know. And
Wow.
so I grew up, I was like, we were a mixed family. And, we lived in a small military town called Ridgecrest, California, where I was raised. And then it wasn't until their 26th wedding anniversary, I was trying to plan something special with them. And we were at dinner and I was trying to like probe and ask them questions about their wedding anniversary. And then it dawned on me, I'm planning their 26th wedding anniversary, but I'm 25. What the heck? And so that opened up the dialogue to find out that my biological dad passed away when I was a baby. And
wow. So you were 25 when you found out that someone else was your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, this is deeper than any other interview I've ever done.
Yeah. No,
wow.
it was.
What was that like? Was it a hit?
It was a hit, but it wasn't in a bad way. It was a mix of emotions. Like the whole family, decided not to tell me that I had a biologic dad because they wanted me to know that that was my family.
Yeah.
So they didn't want that feeling for me to be like, well, he's not really my dad, Yeah. So all I knew of him was my dad. So it gave me a lot of respect for the whole family that I wasn't treated any different. And then it hit me when my mom was like, hey, come with me. We went to the back bedroom and she had this safe back there and she opens up the safe and she shows me this old black and white picture. And it's this dude who looks just like me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And she's like, this is your biological father. And his name is Marcus Messian. And that's how my son got his name, Messian.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Now, people who were, and I've known people who've been adopted, but they knew, or not adopted, but lost somebody and had different, kind of your situation. I don't even know how to explain. What you were like, this is my family though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No question. It was just like this thing where I got to realize and gain that there was another addition to the family of my biological dad.
Now, do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have stepbrothers and sisters from my dad's earlier marriage. And, but as far as in the household, I grew up as an only child in the house.
Oh, spoiled brat.
I want it now. Right. It was more like tough.
That's funny. Now, what a great story. So you grew up in California.
Mm-hmm.
Biking from birth?
No. Biking for me started like any kid. I had a bike and I'd ride around as transportation and things like that. But my passion was skateboarding. So part of the reason why I keep that deck right there is when I was a kid, I wanted to be a pro skateboarder, and I had like dreams and aspirations of becoming a pro skateboarder, traveling around the world, skating in all these different places, contests and demos. And my parents were like, yeah, you can pursue that. And if you become that before college, you can continue to do that. If college ends up coming up and you're not quite there at that level, then you have to figure out how to put college in front of that.
Yeah.
And so I was like a shop sponsored kid, but living in this little small town called Ridgecrest, I didn't really have a lot of opportunity to meet industry type people in the skateboarding world. It was tough. So I didn't become a pro skateboarder, but that was my first passion. And went to college instead. Ended up being really good. Got a great job. That
I ended up being really good at college.
Yeah, I did really good at college, which led to a good job. And then the regular life, you graduate college, you get a good job, you meet your significant other. In my case, we had kiddos, and then the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, my gyms closed down. I needed an outlet, and we moved away from San Diego. So I didn't have surfing anymore, but there was mountain bike trails around here, and my wife is a trail runner, and she kept telling me, you got to get a mountain bike. You got to get a mountain bike.
Really?
So I never listened, of course. But my son, his birthday was coming up, and he was turning 8, and he was like, Dad, let's go down to the local bike shop. You and I can get mountain bikes because we don't have to travel down for surf. We could just go right out of our back door. And that's how it started. April 1st, 2020, we went into a bike shop. Door. Yeah, went into a bike shop.
Oh, come on, man. I'm not listening to this because you can ride.
Oh, thanks.
You are so good on a bike. I love when you take us along with your rides on your videos. It's did you buy a GoPro when you bought your bike?
Soon after I bought a GoPro, because I thought the thing is when I was talking about skateboarding earlier, that and this will all make sense here in a second. Skateboarding, it was such a passion. I could fill up every single second of the day skateboarding when I was a kid. Yeah. And I wouldn't regret any of it. I would dream of it even. Wow. Basically I would eat, live, the whole thing. And all that went away. But when I rolled on the bike on April 1st, 2020 with my son, and we just got bikes and we went down a trail, that passion came back. Yeah. So whatever that was that I had been missing came back, and I got a chance to take a nice big bite of it. So I feel like because of that, it helped me progress quick, because any chance I could to just jump on the bike and learn and progress. And having that skateboard-ish background allowed me to see the terrain in that old skateboard way, where I see transitions. Really? And able to pump transitions. I think that helped a lot.
See, that's interesting, because everyone, a lot of people say they had the BMX background, which I kind of did when I was younger. I loved skateboarding, never good at it, just like doing it. I was the fat kid. but mountain, for me, it was mountain biking. It was like this thing that, like you said, you get this passion for it, and it's such a one-person thing, like skateboarding. It's like you're not riding for anyone else; you're riding for you. Yeah, and it's just I used to ride all the time on the streets and whatnot. But then a friend of mine, believe it or not, I started in Miami, and he took me on some dirt trails, and it was like, oh, I didn't even know this existed. Dang! Oh my gosh, there's a hill. There's hills. They're little hills. Yeah. Hills, a lot of wooden features, and I'm like, this is the technical stuff. It's a game. You're challenging yourself, and that's where I love it.
Yes, right, because you have to overcome the fear. Yeah, you have to increase your confidence, and then you have to know where your skill set is. And it's like you said, it's a game. It's a puzzle piece, and then there's that commitment part where if you crash, a lot of times, at least for me, if I crash, it's because somewhere in between the decision of going for it and making it, I decided to try to get out of it or stop. Yeah. That ends up in a crash.
But that's how you went from a skateboarding background, which is a very focused one person, you and the board. Now it's you and the bike.
Exactly. And now, so knowing that you used to be a skateboarder, the landscapes change when you do these sports. You look at something and you go, oh my gosh, that's rideable. I could ride that. Yeah. Or I didn't realize that those stairs now are like a drop, Yeah. You start seeing those things. So then when you're on the bike, you start noticing that on the trail, and then you see somebody else do what you were just thinking. You're like, that's totally doable. And so on and so forth.
I love that when you think about another Instagram YouTuber by the name of Normal something.
Normal MTB, yes.
Yeah, the goofball.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, no, he did a thing where everyday life as a mountain biker, going to the grocery store and stuff like that. Like I remember, I lived in LA for a little over a year, and I lived right near UCLA. And we would just ride mountain bike around UCLA. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I can jump off that wall.
Yeah.
Look at that stairs. Look at that set of
Right.
stairs and stuff like that. It gets you, man. You want to ride it. Doesn't matter
Totally.
where. You always think of like, I could have jumped that. I could have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're looking at roofs on top of buildings like, I think that
Not,
can transition over to that embankment over there.
not
And the
me,
people
mister.
and people who aren't mountain bikers, like my wife will look at me and like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy?
What now? Do you still have that bike you bought a year ago, or have you've probably upped it?
I upped it. Luckily, I'm on YT's now. YT's the bike brand that
Mhm.
supports the channel. So I have a YT Jeff C. That was the bike I came off of. The bike that I had that I bought April 1st, 2020 was a Specialized stump jumper,
Yeah,
and awesome bike, awesome bike. I still have it. I just listed it for sale, but part of me is kind of smiling that I'm not getting very many hits on it because I
nice.
kind of want to keep it.
Keep it. I'm a Specialized guy. I'm a brand guy, and we're talking about the pandemic. Uh, I had a Specialized rock hopper. Don't need a squishy bike, but now I'm starting to want one. Had a rock hopper, 10 years old. It started getting really bad, and I went to go buy another bike, and I had no idea all the bikes were gone.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They flew off the
Oh my God. Like I went into the shop and it was empty. Like the only thing was left were like 11, $12,000 bikes. And for me, I was like, that ain't happening, mister.
was
So as
that
soon as I saw a new rock hopper, the first one, I just grabbed it.
yeah, you gotta yeah, because it's if you don't grab it, the guy or girl standing right behind you is gonna grab
Yeah. So I grabbed it, but now I'm like, oh, I want squishy. I'm getting old. I'm
it.
an old man. So I can feel my body feels it now. You're a
Well,
young buck.
oh dude, I just so I have the YT Jeffsy, which is a 150 mil travel bike, which is great. But I just picked up the YT Decoy, which is an e-bike, but it's an enduro e-bike. So it has 170 mils of travel in the front, 165 in the back,
Uh,
and that is so squishy.
my buddy just bought the Jeff C.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He's just like, dude, he was like, throw the rigid away.
Yeah.
He's like, throw the hardtail away. He's just like, you got to get, but I just bought a boat. So.
Dude, your town, by the way, is beautiful. I've never been to Miami until was it a month ago when you and I first talked and I was
Yeah.
going on that trip. I flew in there, and then the ride from the airport to our hotel was just like, there's water on this side. There's sweet boats over there. There's water on this side. This is
Yeah.
really sweet.
I totally
And
forgot about that.
oh man,
I
it
was
was
gonna bring that again, squirrel train off track.
yeah, no, me too.
Um, yeah, how was where were you in Miami? Where'd you stay?
I stayed at I have the pin here, Portofino Hotel.
You know, is that where were you in Ocean
Portofino, it was right on the beach, and
South Beach?
yeah,
The Portofino, I know where it is, I think.
I was like a mile no a mile east of Nikki Beach, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Sorry you had this. I apologize for South Beach right away. Us Miami folk, we don't do South Beach. That's for tourists and
That was a
newcomers.
big tourist spot. Man, I got to tell you, being there for work, Johnny, was tough because I'd be in my work clothes going to the meeting, and I jump in the elevator, and it was tourist town. I'm in the elevator with everybody in their bathing suits and pina coladas. And I'm
And you're like, I want to play.
I know.
You're in Sin City.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
Now, did you get a chance to hang out on South Beach or?
one night they shuttled us over to Nikki Beach, and we had an outdoor dinner, and then we were able to like kind of walk around the beach right there. But everything with the company and with COVID, it was very like,
Yeah.
they wanted to keep us all as a group but give us a chance to experience a little bit. But
Nice.
yeah. So
I've got a stupid smile on my face, not just because I'm stupid, but I got a great story about Nikki Beach. I'll leave this in, but me and my wife, when you're not courting, but there's something there and it hasn't brewed up yet.
Okay.
You probably, I don't know, we
Like the
weren't,
beginning stages of a relationship?
we weren't really dating. We weren't doing anything, but we were at a party at Nikki Beach and they have those beds in the back on the beach. There's these
Okay.
big beds. I don't know if they still have them. Well, it was one night we were with all these people hanging out on a bed and stuff, and everyone kind of left. And me and my wife fell asleep talking. It was that night. Oh gosh, it was so magical, Mark.
That's when you knew.
You
You
you're
knew
like
she was the
talking
one.
like this close to each other all night long. And next thing we know, we woke up. It was her mom calling her. Where are
Oh,
you?
oh no.
The bar was closed. We had to crawl out through the bushes. There were bushes in the side to crawl out to get to our cars. The bar was like ting, 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 ting. We were locked in.
Oh man, they didn't sweep the area to wake you guys up.
No, it's so funny. So when you bring up Nikki Beach, it brings up fond memories.
Ah, I could see that, man. That looked like a really romantic spot. Like nice soft sand. The whole ambiance, was fantastic. Yeah, Nikki Beach seemed like a great place.
Oh, yeah, but I apologize for South Beach.
The traffic was crazy. Just to go from the Portofino Hotel to Nikki Beach was like, are we there yet?
Yeah, it's no bueno, as we say down here. So let's back on track. You get yourself a nice bike. All of a sudden, you're like, let's start a YouTube page.
Yeah.
Because your YouTube page is like a year old and you have stupid amount of content.
Yeah,
Like
man.
you dove head first.
So yeah, I totally dove head first. Messiah and my son, he's a YouTube connoisseur. Like he knows YouTube. So the moment we started riding the mountain bike, I was like taking pictures on my phone and he said, Dad, why don't you just start a YouTube channel? I don't know how to edit. I'm still learning how to edit and tell a story and figure out how to piece all of these pieces of footage together to make sense to a viewer.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what? It was one of those things where if I don't do it, I'll never do it. And my son was telling me, just do it. And that could be part of the story. As you grow, your videos will get better. And you're able to document this new journey going from just picking up a mountain bike and up until, today and beyond.
Yeah. A lot of people start. I've found out a lot of people start because they have the GoPro footage. They want to use it, YouTube, to archive it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And was that kind of, but yours, you started like your first video. Did you have some that you've deleted since the first one? Or did you come up with this segment as like, okay, this is how I'm going to go about it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. When my son brought up the idea of the YouTube channel, I started thinking, what can I do? How can I do this? So I started thinking, we started using this app called Strava, which was brand new to me. So I just Googled how many people use Strava, and the computer spit out like 50 million people.
Wow.
And I thought, wow. And I noticed that everything's segments, this segment, that segment, which instead of trails. And then I started thinking it was all about time. And then I started thinking, well, damn, when I go to work, when my son goes to school, my wife goes to work, that's all segments. Like, how could we be better at that part of our, so like the whole thing is all segments. So I thought of the name, the segment, because it can be pretty broad. It could be mountain biking, or it could be part of your life, or it could be motivational. And then I put the timepiece like on the logo. If you haven't had a chance to see the logo has a timepiece behind it, because we all share the same amount of time, which represents the segment, which represents all of us and our progression towards where we want to be. And so the first video was going down that trail, Slaughterhouse. I had my base time, my PR on that. And so I thought, well, let's film trying to beat a segment. Maybe it means I need to practice on the bike more if I don't hit the time. Maybe it means I need to hit the gym and get stronger. Maybe, I don't know what it means, but let's see what happens. And I truly did that run and beat it by, I think I beat it by 1 second.
Yeah, you beat it by 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that felt extremely good. I thought, as I get better, what if I talk to people who are really good at this sport and learn how they get better at their segments, how they get better at riding their bike or whatever it is, or whatever the case may be. And that came with all kinds of cool stories, Johnny. The podcast came from that, because I thought I may not be able to capture somebody watching my channel because I'm this awesome rider. But what I sure can do is I can try to ask people who have a story to tell and create a platform so that they can get their segment out, like what it is that they're trying to overcome. And I find that a lot of us mountain bikers either have struggled with anxiety at one point, maybe they were, faced with being heavy and they're going for weight loss. There's always something that they're overcoming. And I found that was just a very cool, unintentional aspect of the segment, is this platform. And it's even gone to business owners starting up new businesses and things like that. So yeah, I love it. I love all of that.
How did you become so, and this is why I love your channel so much. And you have this inspirational thing, je ne sais quoi, if you will. I don't know. There's something, it's the way, the voice you have, the words you have. I mean, are you like this in life in general, or was this for your channel? Or have you always been somebody that's been inspired and has chose to inspire others?
I feel like I've always been this way, where I'm always looking at my friends or whoever's around me, and I try to always be that positive person. I don't extra try hard. It's just part of who I am. Yeah. But as I've grown, I've realized that part of me needs to be a little bit louder and a little bit more in the front seat. Not only just for me in navigating my life and things like that, but the people who I may have impact on around me, because we all have impact on people, whether we want to or not. And you could either be negative or positive or neutral. But I had a friend who used to always say, in passing, they would always say, "Hey, have a great day. Don't forget to use your powers for good." and I used to laugh at that. And then now looking back on that, I'm like, yeah, man, that guy was on something.
I think it's great. Like, you always have a positive message in the beginning, at the end of your pieces. You're always, stoked. You're excited to be with the people. I mean, I like want to have a beer with you. Like, you seem like that guy. I just feel like your YouTube has such a positive vibe to it, is what I'm, saying. And I don't know if it was an act.
I wish I was that good of an actor. No, man, I think it's just the sport, how it's just fun. It just comes through naturally through the camera, because it's just, I don't know, the GoPro is so easy to turn it on and forget about it.
Yeah. But the sincerity, I'm sure it helps with the sales.
Yeah. The sales side. So what I've learned through that is, like, I used to feel like it used to be like sell, and that's how you become successful. And I started that in 2000, like 22 years ago. Yeah. And so through all these years of sales, what I've learned is that people hate to be sold anything. But what people love, at least from what I can understand, is that people love to be given the information and the power to decide what's best for them. So people love to buy. So it's just like, you put something out there and you make it to the best of your ability, to the truest of who you are, and you hope that it's something that somebody wants to buy.
See, right now, what you're saying right now is just, I'm done. You seem like really good people, and it comes off very well in this segment. Let's talk about this segment. You started this to have people track or talk about their progression, their goals and reaching them. How did you come from that to now you have a podcast,
Mhm.
you have just rides? Did you just go, okay, let's just throw it all in. Let's go all in and have an all out YouTube page where I show a little bit of everything.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it, Johnny. And when I started this segment, it wasn't like it has to be this way and I'm gonna stick to it this way. I tried to give it its freedom, i.e., me, to kind of explore and grow
Mhm.
and see what it is that would present itself. And when the YouTube segments were there and trying to people, trying to be their PRs, I really didn't get a lot of footage of people chasing their PRs.
Mhm.
What I would get during the setup of it, trying to find somebody who was wanting to beat their own PR and then talking to them, I found that there was the story. And then I found it again and again. And then I thought, well, gosh, that to me is way more interesting than getting like 1 second faster on your time, because that 1 second in that case of my run,
Yeah.
there's a whole story behind that. Like, why are you even on the trails, and what motivates you to get out there? No one's forcing you to get out there. What motivates you to get out there by yourself and go out in the middle of nowhere on a bike and forget that you can get hurt and forget all this other stuff
Yeah.
and have a good time and push yourself? And I thought, man, I got to set something up so other people can hear this stuff.
That's great. I come from a news background. I've been working in the news for over 25 years. And that's exactly what a good storyteller is, to find not what the person's doing, but the story behind that. Like I do a segment where we help people with their legal issues, but we find a story within a story. And I find that interesting that a medical sales guy has figured that out and has done it well.
Oh, thanks, Johnny. No, it feels like what's the country singer Kenny Chesney's something about the good stuff. That's where the good stuff is at, in life. So yeah, it's trying to help get that out so people can be heard. And what's interesting about it, you had mentioned that some people use YouTube as a place to archive. I had a guest on the segment about a year and a half ago. One of my first guests when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Ernie, and he started a group called Transcend MTB. And at one point, Ernie was over 300 pounds.
Wow.
And he got on the trails and he was like, man, this is fun for weight loss because it's easier on my body, my joints, my legs.
Mm-hmm.
But what he didn't like is at the time where he was trying to ride, there were people that were kind of rude. He was going up the wrong way. Instead of being helpful, they're kind of making fun of him. So he decided to start up a group that he called Transcend, which now is one of the largest groups here in Southern California.
Wow.
But his whole passion behind helping people like bond in community and teach them how to be good stewards of the trails and to each other was like really well heard, and it was very positive. But the gentleman passed away not too long, about 6 months ago. He passed away abruptly. But what's cool is that his story is captured on the podcast and YouTube and Spotify and iTunes. And if anyone ever needs to go back and hear his voice, that's and amazing. Feel that vibe that he's putting out there, it's there.
That's amazing.
It's so cool.
Oh, you never think that what you're doing is archiving like stuff like that. I mean, that's to the next level.
Yeah.
Someone's passed away and you have his voice.
Yeah.
And his face. It's a podcast, your video podcast. Now, were you always, when you first started this, and I ask this to all YouTubers, because I've done this professionally for years, were you comfortable in front of the camera to put yourself out there?
No.
That's as honest as you get. You're like,
no, Johnny, it was awful, man. I'm like, that's what I look like. That's what I sound like. Man,
it takes a long time to get used to.
Yeah, I still try to get used to it. Half the time I'm like, not looking at the lens. I'm looking at somewhere else, and I don't even know what's right or wrong. I don't have any formal media training, but definitely not. It's not. It doesn't feel normal. But the payoff of whatever message you're trying to put out is worth the effort,
Yeah.
to put yourself through it. And then there's always like, you can get negative. You're opening yourself up to everything, positive and negative. So
There's haters. Haters are going to hate.
yeah, it could be a rough world out there.
Brush them off.
Yeah.
No, it's my wife was laughing the other night because I posted something, but I've learned over the years to not, because I used to do a segment entertainment show for years, and I had to edit myself. And so I didn't have an editor. I had to edit myself. I had to write, produce. I didn't shoot it, but I edited and everything else. And I've learned to separate the guy that's on the screen. Like I would look at myself and I would see someone other than me, because you don't see yourself that often.
Yeah.
It's not like we're looking in a mirror all day long.
That's a good point.
That's how I've learned to. But she was laughing at me. She goes, I love when you watch yourself, you smile. And I'm like, because this guy's a goofball on the phone. This guy's an idiot. So, but that's my little, if you ever have trouble, you're just watching someone else.
That's a good trick. I'm going to start, I'm going to adopt that, definitely. So, because it's your own worst critic thing is so true when you first turn on, at least when I first turn on the camera, I was like, man, I got to hit the gym, and maybe I got to go see a dermatologist too. And
what was it like? Okay, you throw out your first video. You're racing. You're doing Slaughterhouse, which looks like a really fun trail.
Yeah.
Except for that wooden feature that goes up and over that your buddy went over, and he was just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that."
Yes.
That
yeah.
bridge. And you start your YouTube page, and now it's getting traction. You've got well over 1,000 subscribers. Did that happen overnight?
No.
And were you floored by it?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, you put out the first video and you edit it and you think it's the best that you've got, and you put it out there, and then you look on it to see if anyone's watching it, and no one's looking at it. And then you find out that you check it again, and it's got like two views, and you get all stoked, like, oh my God, there's 2 people that watched this video. And then the phone rings, and it's your mom, like, hey son, I saw your video. It was great. You're like, oh, that doesn't count. Damn it. So
mountain bikers, Mom, stop watching.
Exactly. I thought it was somebody else, Mom. I thought I was on my way. But yeah, no, I'm nowhere near big, but it's fun to see it grow.
Yeah.
And
you're putting it out there, like, and I'm the new guy. I'm a great example of this. And I like to hear your story. Is every time I put out a video, I call it the birthday. I gave birth that day to a new baby. Like this week will be I gave birth to the segment interview. And then you sit there and you're watching, you're like, I just wasted this guy's time. I hope somebody's watching it.
Oh no. But yeah, I hear you. It's like, it's a baby, right? It's your baby. It's a thing that you're putting out there. It's emotional.
You're putting it out there. You want someone to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that like when all of a sudden you just started seeing the numbers tick upward with the subscribers?
It felt good. It felt really good. It's puts a smile on your face when you see it, and then you go through the whole thing of like, man, this is gonna take off, and then it dies down, and then you see people unsubscribe, and you go through that whole roller coaster. So you're like,
I haven't had that yet. That happens.
Yeah, if you know, well, if you're looking at the numbers closely, you'll see them go up and down, and then plateau, and then up, and then down. And the first time I saw my first down, I was like, wow, what did I do? You take it so personal.
Yeah, it's
like, what is it? Did I say something? And then for all you know, it was a bot, or somebody just isn't a mount. Who knows? Like, you start to distance yourself from those feelings after a while, but at the beginning, it's like, yay! Oh,
yay! Oh,
right?
Yeah,
yeah. Exactly.
My wife has to remind me, and this for anybody who's new to this and is thinking of starting, it's not as easy as you think it's going to be. I mean, by far, my wife always reminds me, do it because you wanted to do it.
Yes.
Don't worry. I wanted to meet you guys. I wanted to talk about and get to know all these guys that have inspired me and got me through the pandemic. So, I mean, it's not easy. What do you, the recipe for your videos, where do you find yourself? Do you find the podcast get a lot of views, or the rides, or?
Yeah, boy, at this stage, it's all over the place. The
Yeah.
podcasts replay on YouTube doesn't do as well as the ride videos do on YouTube, but I think it's the podcast replays on Spotify and iTunes that get the most. And I think it's people are driving, traveling, at work. It's easy to just, Friday's a couple of days away. I can't wait to go ride. Here's a mountain bike podcast. And they just, hit that. So I think that's where the best replays are right now. But yeah, it's not easy. And then to realize, like, was it the guest is why it got a spike, or was it the message behind it? Like, what were we trying to really put out there?
Yeah.
Was that it? And then some of my ride videos do really well. And I don't know why. It just felt like a video that I put together and put out there, and it did well. And then ones that I have a really good message, at least I feel like it's a message that I really want people to hear. And I try to trickle it in so it's not obtrusive, but it flows with the storyline. That won't go anywhere.
Yeah. You never know. Like it's just a really interesting format. And I always have to remember, I'm doing this for me.
Yes.
And you're probably doing it for you. I mean, if people watch it, the better. Mm-hmm. If they get your message, the better. But if you're one of YouTube folks for an audience, you got to wait.
Yeah.
You got to wait.
Yeah,
now,
it's gotta be. Yeah. It's gotta be fun.
How did you get your podcast?
Podcast, man, that came, that was a lot of luck. I wanted to somehow get stories out that I had been hearing over the phone or through text messages by trying to get people on to beat a segment. And with the podcast, I reached out to a big YouTuber out this way called MTB Allen. Mm-hmm. And I thought, how great would it be if he was my first guest? Yeah, he's got the mustache, and so I went to his YouTube channel. I just emailed him how you and I connected. Yeah. And he emailed me back, and he goes, I checked out your stuff. That sounds good. Let's do it. And he, I said, well, here, I was going to do a Zoom, and he goes, have you heard of a thing called Streamyard? You want to do it on Streamyard? So he immediately accepted the podcast request, but then he also taught me what he was doing because he had a podcast at the time called the Air Horn Podcast. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me like how he did it. And he was like, let's set it up this way. Let's do it that way. And then next thing you know, I was being mentored on how to get this thing going. And big shout out to MTB Allen for really starting the operation side of the podcast.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I know in order to do live YouTube, you have to have like 1,000 subscribers, and I'm very far away from that. And I keep seeing like other people using the Streamyard or some bird thing. Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but I always said when I get 10 of these, I would turn them into and put them on that. Now I'm going with 20. So I have a lot of content to throw out there, but you can just go live on YouTube with Streamyard.
Yeah, it connects to Streamyard. You can connect it to a multitude of places. You can go Streamyard, LinkedIn, Facebook. There's a bunch of places that you can stream it to, and also goes to Spotify,
Mark,
iTunes. No, Spotify and iTunes. That's a second step, but Streamyard itself going live can go to multiple places, and you don't have to have 1,000 followers.
You are showing me the way, Miss.
I'd be happy to show you. It's really cool. And you can share, like, if somebody has their storyline is all captured on Instagram, you can have Instagram, you could pop up their Instagrams, behind the scenes into the front page where you and I are right now. It's pretty cool.
What and you can just drop your own backgrounds and stuff like that on there. And
Yeah, it's got green screen if you want. And then there's like paid versions where you pay for it and you can stream in 1080 or you can stream in 720 for free. You can get rid of their logos and put your logos on if you buy one of the packages for the year. Like, they have like 3 levels of packages, but the free version is perfect if you don't want to add all those bells and whistles. But if you do, it's not an arm and a leg either if you want to change it.
I want bells and whistles. I don't know if I'd be good at live. I'm all over the place.
I think that's what's cool, man, because I think what we've been seeing, at least I'm 47, so growing up and watching television and seeing stuff that's so polished and like done so well, and cut and it's just like it has a certain look and a vibe. But to see this where it feels like we're in a room and people watching us live feels like they're in the room with us having a normal conversation. I think people like that.
Yeah, there's another mountain biker that does one by the fire.
Yes.
And I think, I wish I had more mountain bikers down here. I mean, we have tons. It's just they're not big YouTubers, I don't think.
That's Colorado Kid. That's Joe. Funny.
He is. He's easily one of my. He's a goofball.
He is. Did you see the one with the candy corn during Halloween?
Yeah, and then he calls it up, and then the candy corn stuck in his ear.
Yeah,
the one that pops up on his dropper post.
Yeah, and then yes, there was that one, and then the one where it jumped off the log into his eye.
Guy's a goofball.
Yeah,
big fan of his. I try not to drop names of other mountain bikers.
Gotcha.
While I'm talking to you, this is all about you. Even though I'm about to do that anyway, I'm gonna let you do it. Editing and all that stuff. We're talking about podcasting, but what do you edit on? Are you a serious editor? I mean, you don't have any background in that, do you?
No, I don't have any background at all. And the easiest way to start for me was by just doing the regular old, the one that comes on the Apple products called iMovie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just jumped on the iMovie and figured out how to do some of the transitions and cuts on there. My friends out this way are wanting me to do like DaVinci or Adobe. And I definitely feel like I'm at that point where I want to make that investment in time to learn those.
Yeah.
So I did download DaVinci, but man, Johnny, I got in there and like what I feel like I could do on iTunes, I could just get it done,
I love it.
And in DaVinci, I'm like, how do I do a voiceover? Wait, it's this square over here. Then I have to hit this button, and then is it record? Oh crap, it's recording. Hey, what's up, Senator? This is Mark.
Yeah, I find it interesting the things that people edit on when they don't do this professionally. I'm using Final Cut right here, but everyone tells me like DaVinci and even their free version is just as good as what you're talking about, Final Cut or Premiere. I heard it's just has all the bells and whistles. So stick with it. You'll get it, man.
Yes.
Trial and error. And I think they might have some YouTube videos.
Yeah, I started watching some, and that's how I was able to. I made one video on DaVinci, and it did take a long time. But of course, with anything new, that's where the good stuff is. You got to go through it, make all the mistakes to learn to get better at it. But I got to stick with it.
What did we do before YouTube? I don't know how to do anything before. If I don't know how to do it, I just go to YouTube.
Totally. Same.
We're becoming lazy.
I think
well, not us, because we ride bike.
Yes. I think before, well, I just got an e-bike, so maybe that.
There you go, lazy boy.
But I think before it was like, you'd have to find somebody who knows how to do it, and then they have to take the time to teach you. So it wasn't a quick, like, this thing's in my pocket, I can learn how to do it in 5 minutes. It would be a whole week-long project. just to get the information before
Yeah.
you could even execute on it.
So train off trails again. You're a mountain bike YouTuber. You started a little over a year ago. You're riding for YT bikes. I think you have a favorite clothing brand. I wouldn't know by watching your videos. I don't know what kind of clothing brand you like.
Yeah. Tasco has been very, very good to me. They hooked me up on their ambassador program.
How did that come about? Was that something you just wore a lot of their stuff in your videos and they came to you, or you opened
No,
up to them? Or
yeah, Johnny, I approached them. I love their gloves. I would see, folks at the time when I was watching YouTube as I was just starting, I was noticing all these riders that I like to watch just so happened to be wearing Tasco gloves. It was so easy to see in the camera because their fingers. I'm like, what's Tasco? What is Tasco? And I finally met a friend who had Tasco gloves on. I said, where do you buy those? So, I tried my first pair of Tasco gloves and I loved them. And then I bought some Tasco shorts and I loved that. And then I found out that they were a local Southern California company. So down in San Diego. So we were down in San Diego for a family trip. And I just hunted down the location. I'm like, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to buy some stuff, but I'm really hoping to meet the owner and tell the owner how much I like the product and that I'm a mountain biker. It's meant a lot to me to, it's like a mental thing, right? You get something new, you feel good about it. I feel more confident. And I ended up going in. The only person that was at Tasco the day that I went was Nate Miller, who was the owner of Tasco. Wow. And we just started talking and having a good time talking about mountain bikes. I remember I left there with a couple shirts, a hat, some gloves, some shorts. And he was like, hey man, just take them, have fun, ride and have a good time on it. So we just kept that relationship going. And then it was like 6 months ago, they approached me with a contract for the end of 2021 into 2022 year to be one of their ambassadors. Wow. And that was easy. Like, yep, of course, I'm already writing your stuff anyways. Yes.
Is that when you feel like your channel has kind of like you've hit a certain point where people are actually like giving you product because you're getting it out to enough people?
It's funny there. I think what happened was, I think one of the universities, I don't know if it was Yale or which one of the business schools put out a thing on micro influencers. And that's defined as anybody with, 500 up to 10,000 followers. And they found that micro influencers are really potent in the sense that the community that follows them or that they interact with the community, that it may have more of a impact than some of the channels that have a large audience where they only see them, but they never get a chance to talk to them or interact with these people. So I think it was that, I'm going to say it was that really started opening up doors for a lot for me. And then as well as some of my friends that were around the same, amount of followers coming up and still coming up, that some of these doors opened up, which was cool because I sometimes feel like there's this feeling of what's the word I'm looking for? You feel like you don't deserve it sometimes. You're like,
you're humbled by it.
Humbled by it. Yeah, it's imposter. I feel like an imposter sometimes. Like
I do every day. Don't belong with you California folk. You guys actually mountain bike. You bring up a good point with the micro influencers. How do you feel? I mean, do you feel like people know who you are? And is it exciting that you're reaching a group of people and do you like the comments, or are you still humbled by the comments, bringing up humility?
Yeah, a little bit of all across the board. I mean,
how does that make you feel that like people are you don't even know them?
Yeah.
and they're inspired by you.
That feels good. That feels good. I am partially doing this because I want to impact people in a positive way, just by putting myself out there. So that definitely feels like it's going towards the goal of what I'm doing. The comments and things like that, they're usually always positive, make me feel good, and it makes me want to, like, on YouTube you can't really click on someone's profile to learn more about them.
Yeah.
But if I get a great comment from somebody, I automatically try to click on it, knowing I know that I'm not going to be able to learn more about that person, but I want to connect with them.
Yeah.
So click on their name and I'm like, oh, this is an Instagram, I can't find out more about them. But I love it. I love that feeling, knowing that it's there's impact going on there. It's positive. As far as people noticing that people notice me, I don't get that a whole lot, but when I do, it's really nice. I don't know what to do in those situations. I do know I want them to be seen, and I want to make sure that I'm interacting with them, but I don't know if it's too much to be like, hey, should we get a picture? Like, I don't know what to do with that. But I do want to make sure that they know that I saw them and that, I want to interact with them. It makes me happy. It makes me excited. It's cool.
It's gotta be great that you created something. I mean, I know you're probably doing very well in life with the kids but the message that the segment and Mark has here is something positive, and that you're touching somebody. You don't even know who they are. You created something and it's actually working.
Yeah.
You got to feel good about that.
Yeah. It feels good, Johnny. It feels really good. I can give you a little bit about, so where did that come from? You had asked me earlier where some of this positivity came from, this willingness, wanting to impact people. My wife and I got a piece of that when we had twin baby boys that we lost. And we lost them, she had to birth them, and we got to hang out with them and hold them. It was like this long battle with this disease called TTTS, twin to twin transfusion syndrome. This was before I was a mountain biker. And it was really tough being a parent and then holding your kiddo and knowing that you're not going to be able to see them progress and grow and all that. And there was a family that was down the hall, and they donated all of their food to us. They didn't know us, but they had heard what happened. So they donated all their food to us because we were there for a while. And it was really cool that people you don't even know can care about you.
Yeah.
So it was that feeling of wanting to give some of that good stuff that you get back out there to impact somebody who might be going through something. I don't know what it is that they're going through, but if a message or something I say or something that some of my friends say,
just a little gesture,
just a small one. Yeah.
Small gesture can change a life and change your perspective.
Change a trajectory, change an outlook. Exactly. Ooh. And why not?
It doesn't choke me up, man.
It doesn't cost us much to do that. It's something we can control. It's something within our will, and we don't have to have like 1 million followers to do it, because one life is one life. If you can impact that one person, hey, that's huge, right?
It's beautiful. You're gonna mess me up, dude. It's supposed to be fun.
I'm not crying, you're crying. Back to mountain biking.
I'm not. It's allergies of pollen.
Yeah, it is a high pollen count today.
Okay, then you know what? Forget the channel for a second. You have kids.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like to be able to share your love for something with Messiah?
Oh man,
to be able to have those moments with him.
It's incredible. Like, we were climbing at a place called Vale, and we were getting ready for a race. So one of our local mountains here that we could practice on and ride. They've got some amazing trails. and we just stopped. We weren't bombing down a trail. It wasn't this crazy technical section that we were on. We were both on this fire road climbing to the top, and we both stopped and we got to see the sunset. And as simple as that is, there was like pink and blues and clouds in the sky. And him and I didn't say, stop, stop, stop. Take a look at this. We both just stopped pedaling at the same time. And we didn't really say much. We just looked at it. And I go, hey, buddy, that's pretty awesome, isn't it? And all he said was like, damn, Dad, that's beautiful. And
10 years old, he's dropping the damn word.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, dang video games.
See, that's got to be, as a father, something so special. I never got to share stuff like that with my dad, and to be able to just, hey, you want to go riding, son?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to prove anything to each other.
Right.
That's got to be the great part, is that you're just riding to ride with each other.
Yeah, just fun, just having fun. You know?
And what is it with those damn sunsets? What is it about nature that makes you stop every now and then, or the universe?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many dolphins I see out in the ocean. It's got to stop and look at them.
You got to. As Tony the Outsider would say, those are all these appreciation stations, right? He always does that appreciation station thing. But I feel like our culture is so like head down, work. Tunnel vision, how much money is in the bank, what kind of car am I driving, what kind of clothes do I have on, how do I look? And then when it comes down to it, there's something about nature, which is what's so cool about the mountain bike, is that it takes you away from all of that.
Oh, that's
crazy
about it.
Is right.
Oh,
and it
God.
puts you into a place where maybe there's something there that we've been missing from our ancestors. It's millions of years old, where we need to get away from all these lights and bells and whistles and stress and money, and just be.
And just get on an $8,000 bike and go.
With upgrades on it.
With upgrades. No, that's great. I loved you. You just recently were on a race.
Yes.
And you got to do that with your son.
Oh yeah.
And the whole message is, you overcome something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you win place or whatever. You did it.
Yes.
You always got a message, Mark.
Yeah. That one was.
And your son did. Your son, you placed. You got fourth. Fourth.
For me, it was second.
Second. Okay, sorry, but your son did.
He was like 30 seconds off the podium. So, he was.
But what I thought was great is, no matter where he placed, you were a proud dad that he did it.
Exactly.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Johnny. That was.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. That was kind of the message I was trying to put out there, is just that races, I didn't say it exactly this way. Races are like life. Like, you don't have to be the most successful person in the world when you end this life. It's all the experiences that you go through to live it and to be in the moment and to be part of it. That's the good stuff that you want to make sure you don't forget. And so for him, through the race, I didn't want him so focused on the podium that he misses all the cool stuff, like making a new friend, learning a new line, being surrounded by this positive mountain bike community. And so I want him to soak it all in. And I think that helped bring his nerves down, because he was able to really see the event for the event, versus like, there's only 3 spots at the top, Dad, and I have to have one of them,
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
But does the 4-year-old?
4-year-old.
Does he have a little bike yet?
He does have a little bike yet, but he is hilarious, because he is, there's Athena. He is
She's just like, Dad,
yeah.
I want to get out of here.
I know. I'll go ahead, if it's okay. I'll
go,
real
man.
quick.
You do you. Get the.
Now he's gonna walk away. There you go.
Oh, good shepherd. Whee!
Hey, Johnny, I'm back.
What kind of camera are you using?
Just the camera that's on the Apple computer, the
Yeah, I got an
built-in.
iMac. I think I need a new one. I don't like this.
What is it?
You look better than me. Mine looks like crap.
Oh. I don't.
Talk about the community. What I really love about your videos is your mountain bike community is stupid. Like you go on group rides.
Oh yeah.
And I'll get to your Cavalier. You rode with a legendary, like as a kid, you were with Steve Caballero. It's just,
Oh yeah.
do you know him?
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
personally? You got him on your phone?
Yeah. Personally, and in fact, I was just out there with him today, riding the YT trails. Our mutual friend in common, Joey, got a brand new bike today.
Yeah. And who is Joey Yates?
Joey
Who's on your
Yates.
podcast too.
Yeah, he's my podcast engineer. I say podcast engineer. He's the one that helps me. He's my good buddy, and he would see me struggling with like live chats and trying to put pictures up. And so he said, "Hey, why don't I just jump on with you, and I could take care of all those things. I could put the chats up for you."
Yeah,
If
sometimes he
talking.
just disappears during it.
Yes, yeah. Then he's working on his. We were talking about comfort in front of the camera. In front of the film.
Yeah.
He's working on that aspect where if he feels like, oh man, the numbers are going up, I'm out of here. And he'll go back. Yeah, he'll go backstage. I'll see him drop down to the bottom and he'll look transparent. I'm like, oh, Joey's
funny.
backstage now.
But talk to me about these group rides. Like, how do they come to be? Or are they organized? Or are you just friends with a boatload of mountain bikers?
Yeah, there is when the pandemic, a lot of good stuff came from the pandemic with these outdoor, sports. So Trail Dogs is a big group down here in this area. And when the pandemic started, they wanted to get people together because they realized that we were missing connection. And they also realized there was a bunch of new riders, like people like myself, COVID riders that were just like hitting the trails, but going up the down lines and not, realizing the etiquette that, if I mess up something on the trail, I should probably go back and fix it, or ask somebody who works on that trail, or find out who works on that trail, how I can help pitch in for, future riders. So they saw that there was that missing link and they wanted to piece that together. So they just started to hit social media and gather as many people together for group rides. That spun off into other groups forming, and those people doing group rides, and another group forming, and those people doing group rides.
Yeah.
And so, there's just a ton of groups here in Southern California, and they all know each other. And the funny thing is, we talked about Ernie from Transcend earlier.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those people who started their groups were once a member of Transcend, of that
wow.
positive mountain bike group, and spun off and created their own group that also has that same culture, which is it's cool.
I got to find something like that down here, because it's just, I love watching your videos just because you guys are just like a group of dudes or even women that go riding, and just, it's so much fun. I'm a lone wolf down here.
Yeah.
Like my friends that I did ride have moved since.
No.
I have one buddy that still rides, but he'll be like, hey, you want to go? I'll want to go riding at like 11 or noon or something and get it out of the way. And he'll be like, well, I go around 5. And I'm like, no, I'm done. That's I'm an old man.
You need options.
I gotta I'm just so jealous of all these group rides. I mean, you were at Sky Park for someone's birthday, and
Kelly O'Bike. She's another COVID rider, her and her fiance, John.
Now where's Sky Park's up north, right?
Sky Park it's still considered Southern California. It's close to Big Bear.
Okay. I'm so thrown off. I remember talking to Mountain Bike Rad Dad.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking to him about Sky Park. That just looks like fun.
That's a fun
That
spot.
looks like a mountain bike playground.
Oh man. And that's so cool because it has like an amusement park at the bottom, right? Where it's all Santa's Village, and you can go get like, they're always baking cookies down there and candy and all kinds of stuff. So you come down the hill and the place is so clean. It's just amazing. And the trails are so groomed. It's just that place is the best.
So now what is you have a trail behind your house, right?
I do.
You have a trail system? Because I've seen you go through neighborhood that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. So Slaughterhouse is behind the house, but there's also one called I call it the Vineyard Loop. This is my get out, after work or get out early before work and hit a quick lap. And that is right back here. There's the plateau is what I have behind the house. I think it's owned by, is it owned by the state? So nobody could ever build back there.
Oh, wow.
So it's just, there's just trails and hiking trails back there. It's pretty cool. The other day I was going out for an early morning ride just to make sure I cleared my mind so I could be the best I could for work that day. And I was cruising down one part of the trail and we're at there's a switchback to hit. And at that switchback, I saw something running towards me, but on the trail on the switchback part. And I thought, oh, it's a coyote. And then as it got closer to me, I'm like, holy crap, that is a big bobcat.
Ooh,
that is so cool.
It's so cool and scary.
Yeah, I think it was way more scared of me than I was a bit, but because they had spotted me probably a long time ago and was trying to get away, but the trail switched back on them and they had to come back towards me.
So do you guys have a lot of trail systems just within your vicinity, hour or so or less?
Luckily I do. I do. I've got the Slaughterhouse Trail right here behind the house. About 10 minutes down the road, I've got Greer Ranch that has a number of really, really good trails. And if I had to say that my progression has come a long way, it's because of that trail system, because you have pro riders that ride out there. The guys who built the trails really knew what they were doing when they built it. And you have all these skill sets that go out there. So you could be a beginner or you could be an advanced, and you can go out there and learn from watching these folks and following them. And then there's a trail system, Vail, where I did the race. That's on the south side of the town that I live in. That's only 20 minutes away.
Wow.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. And Orange County has a whole slew of stuff about an hour away from me.
That's amazing that you got so much near. That's probably why you've gotten so good in a little bit of time.
Right. There's just so much opportunity to ride different things with different types of skill sets.
Now, and I always feel guilty about taking up too much time, but I want to get to transition weirdly to the segment.
Yeah.
You have so many different openings. You've got the diamond encrusted, the thing that you have, the one that's kind of burning with the countdown, and
yeah.
Like, how many different have you settled on one, or you just like playing with all of them, or how did you create those? I'm really interested in them because they're really good.
Oh, thank you. That was a Fiverr thing. I reached out to Fiverr. Fiverr is an app or a place where you can ask for work. So I needed somebody to make my logo animate. So I went to Fiverr, and for like $20, they sent me like, here are your options. And I'm like, I'll take those two. And the thought behind the two that you see is the one that does the countdown with a fire that does 3, 2, 1. And the logo, that's going to be more of your ride video. When you see that at the beginning, that's your ride video. When you see the blingy watch that has all the diamonds encrusted on it and it has a different opening, that's going to be more of like a product spotlight, a product review. So that's kind of where those two are separated.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a thought process behind your intros.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Then I started thinking, is the diamond thing too much? I mean, that was what was presented to me. And I'm like, that looks cool. But then I started thinking, nobody wears diamond watches on the trails. And I don't even own a diamond watch, nor I don't have an affinity to get one either. But
it's blingy, darn it. And you're doing products.
It was a shiny new toy.
And nothing's cheap in mountain biking. So
That's right. There you go. That's true. That's funny.
funny. Oh, totally off of mountain biking. Your first couple interviews, or not interviews, you're mountain biking. You're in your garage. What arcade machines are those?
Oh,
Oh, do you
yes.
still have them?
I do. I
And
do.
do you play them? And be honest, because I own one and it sits there and I put my keys on it.
Luckily, well, with the kiddos around, they get played a lot. Whether the neighbor kids come over and play it, or we play it. So there's two video games in there. One is a golf game. So that one's more for my buddies and I. We can have a few beers and we could play against each other. You could play a full 18 holes on that thing. And there's multitude of courses that you can play. You could play up to 8 people if you want. So you can have a fun, fun night in there, drinking beers and playing the game. And the other one is a New Orleans Saints kind of outfitted out arcade game, but it has 650 games from the 80s in it.
650?
650.
See, we've got the tabletop. Remember those at the bars when you were a kid? Your mom took you bowling out. Well, I don't know. I'm older, but it's a tabletop one.
Yeah.
And it's got like 40 some. It's got Galaga, all the Donkey Kongs, Miss Pac-Man, all the Pac-Mans. 19.
I think this is the same system. It just because I think there was a package where I could have bought the 40 game, the
or
80,
every
the
single
120.
game.
Right. And then I just said, hey, well, for not too much more, let's just go for the 650 game. And I'm still discovering games on that sucker.
I love that. And so the 40s, I don't do it anymore. My wife.
Don't get me hurt too.
Bought it while we were dating, and we now have upgraded greatly in our house. And I'm like, we've got like an adult house here. It's fair, other than the TikTok lighting and the Peloton, but we got this arcade machine. As soon as you walk into my house, there's this tabletop. At least you have it in the garage.
Well, I tried to get it in the house, but that's where the boss of the house was like, nope, they're going in the garage.
Now, do you have an extra fridge in the garage full of beer?
I do. And in fact,
it's a
I was hoping.
cave.
Oh yeah. I was hoping tonight. I think it just came in though. I ordered one to go right here, and it's going to go right here, and it's going to have lots of beers and non-beer drinks right there.
You're going to be like biker guy.
Yeah, I was kind of inspired by Robert.
I'm sorry, I mentioned another one. I can't help it.
No, it's cool. I'm a fan of all these guys too. They're so good.
I have a little one in the second bedroom. It's funny because I'm a big hot sauce guy.
Nice.
Full of hot sauces. And I'm seeing all these people do hot sauce stuff on their channel. And I did the bomb. People were doing the bomb. It's a little, I don't know if you're into hot sauces.
Isn't that like the middle one of the
hot ones?
Yeah. But
it's like the third to the last, and everyone says it's the hottest.
It's the hottest, right?
Did a video and I won't post it.
Why?
Because it's not hot.
It's not?
To me, it wasn't. I was like, oh, it's not that hot, guys. Come on.
Oh, you should post that. You should post it, and then it'll be like the dramatic ending that nobody expected.
If anyone's still watching, I just gave it away. But you're gonna have a thing of beer with great transition, because we're gonna ask you, what do you like after a ride? Are you a burrito, taco, IPA kind of guy?
Man, I definitely would be a burrito. Burrito would be great. Living in San Diego before Murrieta, that was the shtick. You would go surf and then go out and find a nice burrito with some hot sauce to warm you back up, especially sometimes in the winter when your bones are cold I don't know, you guys don't have that cold water systems.
I
Well,
don't know I don't even know what cold is.
that's right. That's right. We would get it out here, and it was just like, man, surf and burrito. So that's just carried over. Biking and finding a good burrito somewhere, it would be great. The IPAs I haven't got into. I know I'm more of like the lager guy, lighter type beers.
I'm a PBR.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That's all I can do. I'm not a big beer guy anymore. I was in college, but that's kind of faded.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh, have you tried this new?" And I'm like, "I don't like it.
I know.
Give me a cheap PBR. That's what I can handle."
Right. Well, some of those IPAs that some of my buddies love, they're like, "You got to try this one," and I'll try it. I'm like, it's good, but it's so strong. It's so hoppy, you know. If I loved hoppy, I would love that.
Yeah, my taste buds have changed over the years. Final, because I know you have a family, and I know you're 3 hours different than me, but you still have a family, and I don't want you to miss out on them. And I appreciate you greatly.
Dude, this has been, I was so stoked that you reached out. I was like, this is cool. I was even telling the guys at YT, I'm like, I gotta go. I got to get back for this show. I'm going to be on Johnny U's show, Mountain Bike Q&A.
The baby channel no one knows about. I couldn't believe.
Dude, you're going to be huge. And you're having fun doing it.
I love it. I love me. I got giddy. I get giddy. I get nervous. I have interviewed A-list celebrities, and you guys are above that to me. I get so nervous. But it's not nerves. It's like butterflies. I'm like, I get to meet this guy. I've seen like almost all of your videos, and now I get to.
Oh man, that's so cool. So, do you think, not to be the interviewer, but do you think that's because you're into the sport as well?
I think it is. I think the other one, interviewing movie actors and stuff like that, it was a job.
Gotcha.
You know, and I loved movies, but I mean, who doesn't? It's a great time killer.
Yeah.
But COVID killed mountain biking here. Everything closed, like even the trails.
I heard you say that. That's
because
crazy.
they're owned by the county and the city. So
that's why
they closed. So I just started watching you guys. And I'm like, I want to meet them. I can maybe talk to them. Didn't realize how difficult it is because you guys have lives.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like for you, we've been chatting back and forth for a few weeks now.
Yeah. I had those trips, and I was like, man, I want to be on this. I want to talk to this guy. And then Miami, for a split second there, when I was in Miami, I was like, wonder if we do this together at the same place. And then I looked at my agenda, and I was like, I'm not even going to bring it up because I'll barely leave the hotel.
Yeah.
But
life gets in the way. That's like the one I just posted last week was with the Shred Shed.
Shred Shed.
And we were back and forth. And then when you said you couldn't do it, it was weird. It was like the next day he emailed me, and it was like, can you do it this week?
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was, I get giddy. I'm sorry. It's very exciting.
I think that's when things like happen, is when you're down the right path, you know, things just start to open up and present themselves to you, and you just got to grab them, you know?
Yeah.
And that's cool. And I did see that on your past, the interviews that you've done with the A-list celebrities. I was like, holy cow, that's incredible. And then what's really cool for us in the mountain bike community is that we're able to have this cool addition with your skill set to come in and do what you do, but within the passion that you do for fun.
And I like hearing, again, like you said, the stories. I like hearing people's stories, how you came to be, and how you came to wanting to do YouTube, and how you came to mountain biking, and how it all came to be, and hearing your story. And I love your story, but I guess I'm ending it, but and somebody does this on their page, a friend of mine who does this, but what is Mark Hill grateful for?
Man,
what wakes you up in the morning, and what keeps you going?
You know, before, I'm grateful for a lot of things, and I feel very lucky for having a lot of things that had happened to me. But what I'm probably the most grateful for outside of like family, my wife and everything is kind of an awakening, a middle-aged awakening that I'd like to make sure that I help bring that aspect back up to people. When I lost the twin boys, at that time, it was, what kind of sports car can I get? How much money do I need to make? Those were the things that you feel like you're chasing after, at least, in culture. And what I'm grateful for is realizing that that's not where it's at, that it's about appreciating the community. It's about making connections with people. It's about experiences, and it's about trying to keep those things always in your mind, and not get caught up into what society says you got to do. So I'm totally great. I'm not grateful that we lost the boys and went through that horrific time, but I'm grateful that I was able to learn a huge lesson in life on what is most important. And it doesn't have to do with the monies and things like that. Those things are nice, but it has to do with connection.
And mountain biking and your crew is a great way to connect. I mean, you have so many out there, you can connect all day long.
Yeah. And it feels right. It just feels like you were saying earlier, one thing kind of didn't work out, but something else opens up. I feel like that's been the path for the channel, for the segment. It's like, I recently got Drew Brees out on the bike, mountain biking, and he's been a buddy of mine. And then it leads to all of a sudden I've got Steve Caballero out there on the trails. And then I've got, just they're friends of mine. And then I have my friends that we ride and have fun and take the time to just stop and enjoy it. Cause time goes so fast, man, when you're out there,
man,
like it's already time to go, but you force yourself to look up and go, I'm really going to take this in. I'm really going to enjoy this right here. This means something to me, and like put all those things away, and really take time to collect those. And I'm grateful for that aspect in life, which is meaningful for me. And I hope to continue to share that with other people.
And you're grateful that your wife lets you do it.
That is huge.
Oh man. Can't thank you enough, brother.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for letting me be on the show. Mountain Bike Q&A. I can't believe it that I had you. You're on. Do you guys know who this is? Wherever he is. It's Mark T. Hill. This guy.
I never know. So I just do this. I'm going to drop. You're right there somewhere. I'll put your Instagram, your YouTubes, blah, blah, blah. Follow this guy. If you're new to my channel, if you're new to my channel, you might be new to his channel. Go like, subscribe, everything. Mark, I can't thank you enough, brother.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Johnny. Thank you for reaching out and having me on, man. This has been great. It's so nice to meet you. Any chance that you might be coming to Southern California anytime soon?
Maybe not, but if I am, I feel like I'm making what you say, the connections.
Yes.
To wherever I go in this country, I feel like I have someone I can ride with.
So good. That's so good.
Get out of here, man. Like and subscribe, folks. Now go get your bikes dirty.
Get your bikes dirty, everybody. Yoo!